What's up, guys? It's Chandler here from Team No Leek, accompanied by my teammates Kobe Harris and Brandon Tucker.
What's up, guys?
So,
And we're going to be kind of going through AC meta forecast and a few other things that we think about this meta. So just kind of go right off the start. We're going to talk about our thoughts on the format. Kobe, you want to start us off with that?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent format overall. A lot of tag teams, which a lot of people have been complaining about, but there's a lot of different decks and different techs you can put in decks to counter different matchups. So it's really very versatile, and you can really do a lot of different things in this format, whether you like to play aggressive decks, control-y decks, stall-y decks. There's something for all of that, so it's decent overall. There's been better formats, but I'm liking it so far.
What about you, Brandon?
I'm a big fan of this format. I don't know. There's a lot of different stuff. Like even decks that you don't, I don't know, bad decks I guess can still do okay. You know, like I fought Whimsicott at a cup last week. So.
Yeah, me too. I about lost to it. It almost got really, really bad.
Yeah, I did lose to it, but
yeah, it'd be like that.
5 heads in a row, it'd be like that. But.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, the format's pretty alright. It is pretty tag team heavy. I feel like it's relatively the same compared to Hidden Fates releasing, which is, I mean, it pretty much should be. I thought Jesse and James would make a little bit more of an impact than even, most decks. But it looks like it's only going to stick in control decks and really impact that sort of play area.
Yeah. I think it's going to make an appearance at AC. So.
Yeah, it probably will.
James.
It just got completely neglected at the European regionals, so I was really surprised by that even decks like Pidgeotto Control didn't even play it. And there's just so many decks. Like, you remember Breloom?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember when people were trying to play Breloom, and in my pot of the Open, there was a Lucario Frostlass deck and a Naganadel deck, and I didn't even know what was going on. And you still see decks like that popping up in cup top 8s, but it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, you know. Just I feel like right now, you know, the community has like a deck of the week to kind of like just shit on. So I mean,
this week it was Dark Box.
Yeah, it was like last week it was like Malmar and then like Pikarom, and now it's like Dark Box. It's just kind of going around.
Yeah, I didn't understand the Pikarom witch hunt, you know, like it seemed like a bunch of like top tier players were releasing like forums and stuff like that over how bad Pikarom was, and I was like, Kobe would tell me like every other hour, like, dude, did you see what this guy released about Pikarom? Dude, did you see what this guy released about Pikarom? I was like, what is going on, dude? I'm like, I'm still doing well with it. Like I've gotten points with it everything I've played in, so...
Yeah, and I even hate Pikarom, and I want it to be bad. I don't like playing against it, but I just didn't understand, like, how people thought it were bad. And I heard Michael Pramwat just on a meta forecasting, just slaughtering the deck, and Michael Catrone wrote a whole article about how bad the deck was.
And one more person wrote an article about how bad it was, too.
I just didn't understand what was going on, but, yeah, there's a different deck every week that people kind of go after, and you really... It's kind of unpredictable, this meta is. You don't know what you're going to see except for a lot of abilities, Arden.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought that too, but when I went to Stillwater, there wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
Or where did I go? It was Tulsa. The one you guys went to.
Right.
There was a bit of abilities art, but the day before, there wasn't. And there was 4 Malmars made top 8, so... It was...
I do think the deck that is deserving of the crap talk this week was Dark Box for sure.
Yeah. Dark Box, I tested a lot of Dark Box, and it's just pretty bad, man. You know, it just doesn't get there, and there's some decent builds of it, but it's not that great.
Yeah, I don't know. It requires too much setup. I played it I don't know. I played it a little bit online, and it feels kind of like a Malmar or like a Blounds where you got to get like the Nagas set up, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And get energy in the discard.
And a lot of people...
You also have to get the Weavile.
Yeah, for sure. Like turn 2, you have to get Sneasel turn 1 or your deck just is too slow and doesn't function. It's like Nagquag and like Blounds, and not even very many people are playing Blounds right now. It's just really inconsistent, so it's crazy that someone thinks that kind of deck can work, but it obviously is with Naganadal Quagsire, and I don't really know what the difference would be there.
One prizers against three prizers, I think, is really the only difference.
Yeah,
oh,
for
and they have the
sure.
Keldeo. There's so many decks that just can't handle the Keldeo. Nagquag, like, it's an okay deck. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
gonna. People are putting techs on it now, so
Yeah, I think
like,
Nagquag just needs to be straight consistent, and if they have to start teching for things, they're just done for.
oh yeah, no, like I fought one at a challenge the other day. Like it's. I mean, I'm playing Malamar though, so it's not.
But it doesn't even take a positive matchup to like abilities art.
Oh, it doesn't. I haven't play
Nah,
tested
dude,
it.
It's
But...
like even if you just play like Finny just carries that matchup, and it like
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
too slow. You don't have to bench Reshi. You can exchange prizes with them equally but faster. So you kind of just win.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think about the rule change, Brandon?
Oh man, I like it. I think.
Yeah.
I think is the keyword. We need more Pokemon search.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's a big problem with this format for sure. I miss Nest Ball.
If we don't have it, yeah, it's gonna get bad.
Do you think it's the best thing they could have done, or do you think there's a rule change that could have been better?
Man, I think optional mulligan is one thing, but I feel like that would also. I think we need an optional mulligan. Man, it's really wonky.
What do you mean
So
by
I think-
optional mulligan?
Like other card games have, like you can look at your hand and you can shuffle it back no matter what, and you just draw less cards.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Magic has it.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Something else I heard that I thought about for a while, and it sounded pretty good, was just like a hand size limit, so decks just couldn't go absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Chandler doesn't like the
No.
idea of it, but it'd be like so healthy
No.
against
Oh,
decks
I-
that can just like stack a 30-card hand.
No, I don't think we need that.
No.
I don't think that's too big of a deal.
Especially because I'm a control player. I don't want any of that action.
Nonsense.
No,
Nonsense.
I feel you.
Trade
Yeah.
trading and airmailing is what I'm all about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What do you think of
With
the rule
the-
change, Chandler?
It's rough because like I play a lot of decks that rely on first turn supporters, like Archie's, Elms or Bridget. Bridget and expanded with Zoroark and stuff
Right.
like that, or Elms with Pidgeot control. So the only deck I think I play that doesn't really rely on a first turn supporter would be probably something like Pikarom. That's not a deck. But yeah, something like Pikarom I could probably do okay with, just because you have the Dene still. But I think it is a little weird for sure. I'm not gonna know if I like it or dislike it until I play in that format.
Yeah, I think decks will definitely have to go really heavy on Pokemon draw, like the Dene, Jirachi, so even heavier probably than the lines that are playing now. Just decks like Nagquag or decks of that similar style will just have to play high counts of the Denes to even be able to function.
Yeah, like so in my corner, I'm playing Malamar, and like first turn supporters are really important because you want just to be able to get the Inkays out.
Right.
So I'm a little worried about getting donked. Getting donked is like my biggest fear because Welder is a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can just
So,
throw one
that's-
double blaze.
That's why gosh, I'm so sorry.
You need more Pokemon search.
Yeah, we need more Pokemon
Yeah, for
search,
sure.
like Ultra Ball or Nest
Anything.
Ball. Nest Ball, at least, I think it might be too strong in the format.
I think Nest Ball is too strong of a card, like no matter what. I think the card's just so insane.
Yeah, maybe like a card that can get a basic
Non-GX.
non-GX. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
So if you have a tag team on the board, you don't have to worry too much, but
Right.
it might hurt non-tag team decks.
Yeah, if you just got a little Inkay up there, you might be in some trouble.
Yeah. Oh no, I can't Cynthia to get my guys up. Yeah.
Pass.
And you relatively you pretty much have to go first with those evolution decks because like going second's just bad. So I mean, then you either risk getting donked or you risk going second and being like a turn later than everything else. You know.
That's already
Yeah.
a turn faster than
Right,
you
that's
because they
always a
don't
turn
play
faster.
evolutions.
So, I do like that. I think so. Like Mewbox with Malmar, I think Mewbox might be maybe your worst matchup. If you're going second, of
Yeah, for
course,
sure.
because they just welder and then they SP Oxys you turn 2.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's just kind of what happens. So I do like that can't happen anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think like Welder was like a big part of this decision? Like they look at Welder
Oh,
like, oh, you can't do that, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, like 100% that's why it happened. Welder's just kind of really unhealthy. Um, yeah, I think just Welder's kind of an unhealthy card.
It does way too much.
Yeah.
Like attaching 2 and then drawing 3. If it wasn't draw or if it was just attach 1, it could be very reasonable. But being able to get like 6 energies on board turn 2 is just incredible.
And maybe even draw like 1 or 2 off of the welder instead of 3. I mean, 3 feels like a lot, you know? Like trade always felt so good. So like getting 3 pretty much off of something like that, it just seems a little insane now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in my head. I always think like draw 4 is like like
The
yeah,
goal.
draw 4 would make it good.
Yeah.
Like if there was a card that just said draw 4 cards, I think it'd see play.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
So like Coach Trainer is kind of an example of that. It saw
Yeah.
play for a little bit.
unless
so that's
there's a
what-
discard draw 7. If there's a discard draw 7, you just play a discard draw 7. you
Oh
know?
yeah,
That's
definitely.
just insane.
The fact that we're getting that again is I'm
It's beautiful.
I don't
It
know.
is truly beautiful.
Yeah, it's added consistency, but when you can't use it going first, I mean, how helpful is it to anything but like big decks?
yeah, it's definitely I don't know. Man, it's gonna be a weird meta when that happens. We also don't
Yeah.
know any of the other cards in the set. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I really like the Marini, is that how you say it? Both players
Marini?
put the hand on the bottom of the deck.
And then
You draw 5, they draw 4.
Yeah, that card is super duper strong.
I like that goes to the bottom of the deck too.
And both players
So-
put it on bottom of deck.
Yeah.
I think that's way stronger of a card than Judge.
Oh, definitely. You also get a +1.
You get a +1 and you don't have to draw the same cards, and your opponent doesn't get to draw the same cards, It's really good.
It definitely is. It's like, especially like let's say they greens, right? They want those cards.
Yeah.
And you can put them on the bottom. Whew, that's
Yeah,
pretty
like
good.
I mean, I could give out like examples, but those examples would be of like in a world where you can play supporters going first, and I just don't know how to approach how good a card can be if you can't play supporters going first,
Yeah, me either. I also think that like part of it is also judge and maybe that new card.
Play
Because
both.
judging turn, or no, just another reason why they made this rule. Because
Oh, yeah,
judging
for
turn
sure.
1 kind of still feels bad. It's
Yeah.
not. I think they're trying to get away from that, like instant lose on turn 1
the
thing.
disruption,
Yeah.
the disruption part.
Yeah.
Because it's been a solid part of the meta game for a good part of 2 or 3 years. So, and that's a really high amount of like control style, stall style decks that are just in a lot of people's eyes degenerate.
Well, and
Yeah.
like you had mentioned, they're trying to get rid of that turn 1 losing, but like I feel like this is the card game that like that not hardly happens in to say, but like when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, dude, like I was terrible at Yu-Gi-Oh first of all, but like when I started playing in college with my buddies, like it was just always like there's no mercy, just turn 1 every single game, and that's what turned me off from Yu-Gi-Oh. But I feel like it's like Pokemon's significantly better than other card games and as far as losing turn 1, so I don't really think that was like a real problem in my opinion.
I think it's more having to do with they want people to be able to play the game.
Yeah.
They always want people to be able to play the game. So if you look at their bans have historically just targeted cards that prevent your opponent from playing the game. Even like some of the new bans like Chip Ice Axe that happened in Japan, they just want which I didn't really see why they did that, but I guess there's some Giratina Garchomp deck that just goes nuts and controls your opponent's entire hand on turn 1. But there's just so many cards. I don't understand why they print them if they don't see how they're gonna play out in a metagame. You know?
Yeah, Pokemon is definitely one that I have noticed. Just I don't know, balancing is not like their forte. It
Their
No.
seems
strong
like.
suit? No,
No.
it's not.
So
Their
like
R&D team could use a lot of work.
how it seems to work is like, oh, this type is really strong. Well, we're just gonna make what its weakness is really strong, but it still normally doesn't work.
Yeah,
So
they pick a certain type and then they just give it like 10 cards, and then it's not balanced at all. It just power creeps every time.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think a little bit of the problem, not really a problem, like because I don't really have a problem with it, but like there's just such a big card pool and expanded. Like I was talking to some Magic players, and Magic is about to like rotate their modern format, which is like our expanded format, because they just have
Yeah.
such a huge card pool in their format, which is something I think they should probably start thinking about doing in Pokemon. Like again, I like the challenge, I like the huge card pool, I like expecting nothing.
I think it's fine as long as you maintain an active ban list. I think they've done a pretty decent job with the ban list and keeping it a really healthy format.
Well,
but
and that's how they've had to release so many banned cards now because of all the combos, and it's such the big card pool. Like, you think of all the things you can compare with Chip Ice Axe and Delinquent and Red Card and all that with. It's just absolutely bonkers.
right, but I'd rather have a ban list than a rotation.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
banning 10, 20 cards is nothing in comparison to like rotating 8 whole sets.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't hate a rotation. I just prefer the idea of a ban list.
Right.
And I think they do a pretty decent job at that, while still somehow being so inept at card design and thinking. I think they design the cards well. I just don't think they think them through all the way to what their potential really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think we need a rotation and expanded.
You think so?
Yeah, I especially just mainly to get because getting the cards is also really rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like-
but you saw they were doing a Japanese reprint set of a bunch of expanded cards.
Yeah,
In
it'd be nice
Japan.
if we got something like that. I don't really see it coming out.
I don't see why we couldn't.
So.
I think it'd be more of, I think it'd be less of like, I don't know. I would want to think it'd be less of packs and more of just like staple cards you can buy in a box. But like they have no precedent of doing that. So
Yeah, here, like their packages are targeted towards children,
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
and that's why I don't think they would.
Yeah.
Like, just the way our boxes are built compared to like the Japanese boxes, you can clearly tell that. Like, we have the big flashy. It comes with a figure
Right,
and
and
a big card,
A coin
and
a
it.
pin.
Yeah, like those are like, oh man, and they're, mommy, can I have this box, please? That's what it is.
I think they could still do that while reprinting a black and white set, is because clearly they have no shame in producing packs that so many people don't care about. I mean, when I signed up for the DC Open, they gave me Evolutions packs, right?
Gross.
And
Oh, yeah.
so they'll clearly do that, so I don't see a reason why they would think or act differently to turn off the major market for their product.
But
Yeah.
touching back on base with like expanded, like where I see it is with players that are new to the game and they have to go. Standards easy to pick up, but like if they want to, like if they start getting heavily invested into it, like getting invested into expanded and learning all the cards and all that, like we were talking about rotation, like that's just like we have a bunch of players in our local area that they don't really want to learn the expanded meta or anything like that because it's so huge, it's so it was toxic, and it kind of still is.
I think it's
toxic.
really healthy. I don't think there's anything like super degenerate out there. Sable Garden might be a little too degenerate right now, but I don't know about anything else.
Nah, I mean, it's since they lost puzzles, it's been pretty bad.
I don't know, man. That deck is just Junk Hunt's a crazy attack. It's a hell of a drug.
Don't talk to Kobe about Sable Garb. He's just gonna be right at stick all the way home.
Oh man, Sable Guard was my like go-to, and then they came out with like Giraffe so they can just get rid of your life too, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah, you just don't play Life, dude. You just play Dowsing Machine, man.
Dowsing Machine?
Yeah,
Ah,
for
I don't know.
sure. You just play Black Market, and then you just Trick Shovel, Chip or Trick Shovel Hiker, their top deck.
What
and,
chip?
It
Yeah, what chip?
the deck worked with double shovel, so it can obviously work with double shovel, but now it has hiker as well, and hiker's just chip ice axe
Yeah, but that's a
going
supporter.
crazy. That's fine. There comes a game state where Sable Garb doesn't need to play supporters.
So are you controlling or are you milling?
Yeah,
You're
when I was
controlling.
playing Sable Garb,
but
I almost never played a supporter.
But
So.
but I've explained this to like where you'll play a trick shovel and the card will be bad and you can leave that, and that lets you keep the other card you junk hunted for. Like you don't have to like play the hiker or the chip ice axe if it still exists. So you just get to keep that card, and then you can start milling and you can start using double shovel and getting back into a more aggressive combo.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna get back on track for AC
Oh, yeah.
here.
Definitely.
Brandon, do you have any thoughts about like what the best decks in the meta would be? What current tier list would be? I think there's definitely most popular decks in format, but what are your thoughts about what are the actual best decks?
Okay, so I think the best deck is probably Ability Reshi.
Yeah,
If it gets going, I mean, everything bricks right now, but
for sure.
Ability Reshi seems good. Or the one that doesn't even play Reshi, maybe.
Yeah,
Just that firebox in general.
I don't really
seems-
think that there's like enough difference between the decks to like make one substantially better than the other. The Reshi, like you can just think of the Reshi as a tech, and they're the exact
Yeah.
same deck, you know. So
That's pretty much what it is. So
I think the
yeah,
deck's really strong, but it is like you mentioned how it's both the best deck and the worst deck in format, and that's something after playing the deck I can definitely get behind.
yeah. Sometimes it just it works insanely well, and then sometimes it doesn't. Like so, Mew Mew was probably like one of the top choices for a while,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but at AC, I think it's just gonna get destroyed.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even think it will get a top 8.
Wow.
I'm pretty that confident in it because it just loses to ability.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Reshi.
You just have to play tag teams, and ability doesn't. So it's
Yeah.
just a really awkward matchup for that deck for sure.
I mean, I know it's possible. They can. It's it's just a weird matchup. I don't think it's good enough for.
Yeah, I don't either. What else? What other decks would you put in tier 1 then, if Mewtwo
Okay,
isn't?
so ability. I want to say Malamar, but that's me. It's
Right.
not one though. Man, probably just Reshi.
Just Reshi.
I don't think Pikarom is either because
Oof.
yeah, I think probably Reshi is probably tier 1, and then tier 2 is probably like Mally, Blounds.
Pika.
Yeah, Pikarom definitely is tier 2.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
think it's tier 1 because it loses to Nagquag, which I think Nagquag is probably tier 3.
Yeah. Where would you put Guardian?
In the trash bin.
You'd never consider playing the deck?
Dude, that deck is absolute cheeks in my opinion.
I think if you're gonna play it, just play Green's Reshi. Right? It does what it needs to do, but better.
So if you know your local meta entirely and you know there's no Reshi, do you still not play Guardian?
Yeah.
You just think the deck's bad?
there's gonna be Reshi like at other events. You need to practice for other events.
Right, yeah, for sure. But I mean,
If Reshi didn't exist, yes, Guardian would be good.
right.
But Reshi exists, so it's bad.
Okay, so if you wouldn't play Guardian, where would you put Green Reshi in a tier list?
Green's Reshi?
Yeah.
Probably tier 2.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
T3.
Yeah, it's T3 for sure.
It's definitely not tier 3. It's not popular, but it's like if one top 8's AC, I wouldn't be surprised. The deck's strong, and I mean, it can keep up. It can really keep up with ability through one prizer, since a lot of abilities one prizers are just really low HP, like 110 for the Turtonator, 90 for the Victini. You can bring out Ninetales with Custom Catcher, so you can really keep up with them in prizes for the long run, and then try to make them brick with a stamp, which is super easy. You plant stamp them, and then you can just heal a Reshi if they can't one-shot it. So I think the deck is super strong and has a lot of positive matchups. But it's not ability Reshi, so why play it, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it has strong matchups. like people like a week ago they were talking shit on Malmar, and then Malmar, like everyone was like, oh no, it's really good now.
Yeah.
But so if a lot of people at AC play Malmar, then ability is pretty good. Or not ability, greens is pretty good.
My question for you
So,
is, what tier is Malamar in best of 1, and what tier is Malamar in best of 3?
oh man, so best of one, like I think it is top tier.
I think it's... I don't think any deck can be on abilities level, but I think it's definitely like top of tier 2 in best of 1.
Okay, in Oklahoma it's tier one. I'll put that.
Yeah, I won't argue with that one. It produces, but in Oklahoma, Spiritomb is tier 2, so we won't talk about
gross.
Oklahoma.
Gross.
No, no, I've just been playing Malmar and I've been kind of trashing events with it. So, granted, I think my list is probably one of the best lists out there. Like, I'll fight other people on that. So
Yeah, there's really not a love for the Tina Chomp variant, but you've been smacking people around with that. So what do you think the reasoning? What do you think about the spell tag straight psychic version of Malamar?
oh, bro, it's trash. Like, yeah, you get a better mirror match, but
Have you played the new lists?
oh, like the straight spell tags.
Like
Or-
the lists that are playing like the Latios GX and
Oh yeah,
the Esper and
the Esper's trash. I had it in my first
I
iteration.
think the Esper is trash as well.
I don't think
Esper
so.
has never done a thing against me, but
I think Esper's kind of a heater.
I think Esper's pretty bad, so. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to get your opinions on the psychic version of it.
Is that what you would play at AC, Brandon?
What Malmar? Yeah, I haven't played anything other than that really this format.
Yeah.
I always have something else built. Like I have ability built right now. I had Pika Rom I think for a little bit. I don't know, but I always just go with Malmar.
Have you still never played Pikarom?
Yeah, no, I've never actually entered it even in like a local league. So
What's your reasoning behind that?
so when it first came out, I thought it was trash. It was inconsistent.
Right, me too.
And then it was still trash and inconsistent, and it's currently
God.
trash and inconsistent. So
I can get on board with that, Brandon. I can feel that.
You guys
I
are
don't know.
both so wrong.
It's
I mean-
consistent. Like, I can't argue that it's consistent, but
Kobe says it's inconsistent, and then I judged him in a cup, and he lost.
I was playing Nag, dude. Leave me alone. I was playing a stage 1 deck.
I don't want to hear you say it's inconsistent when that
I was
happens.
playing a stage 1 deck.
it's not like it's such a weird deck. Like
Yeah.
it gives up 3 prizes, and then like after it does its fancy stuff, you're hitting for like 150 doing that. It's so I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's. I
Well, you
haven't
should
thought
only
about
have
it
to
like
do your
that.
fancy stuff, and then you win. Like if you don't win with your fancy stuff, then yikes, you're a bad Pikarom player.
oof. I think all Pikarom players are bad then.
Oof.
Yeah.
Dude, you're targeting. You're triggering me right now, bud.
I think the problem.
As I'm saying, as I'm playing Malmar, you know. So
Right.
I think the problem with Pikarom is if your opponent draws as well as you do and is at least in the same skill range as you, you'll lose. Like the deck just doesn't have good enough power and good enough like matchups that like if your opponent just draws as well as you do, you just lose anyways.
yeah, I just feel like it doesn't have enough damage output.
Yeah.
I mean, it has it, but it just
Like I think its win condition is just making people brick.
yeah. 150 is not much right now.
It's just that ain't it, Chief. But Chandler, what would you
God.
play if you were going to AC right now?
Man, I've been like the only deck that I've gotten points with. Well, I mean, I've played, and all the events I played with was Pikarom pretty much, and I've gotten points every time from playing Pikarom. So you guys can sit there and talk your trash all you want, though, and I have 112 points so far. Only missing points I think at one event. So you guys just keep talking your stuff. I might play that. Or I still feel really comfortable in birds, Pidgeotto control.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the hidden fades birds. I'm like, shut
Yeah,
the fuck
Go
up.
away, go away.
Yikes! What do you think about Pidgeotto, Brandon?
SB Oxus for 6.
I think Pidgeotto is garbage. I just think the deck loses way more often than it should, and I think it loses to Mewtwo, and I think it loses to Malamar, and I think it loses to ability. And maybe even Pikarom sometimes. So
Oh,
I don't think the deck
God.
is too great, but
I think it's really good against dumb players, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm the king of dumb players,
Oh
so you
yeah,
gotta.
no,
It takes
for
a little
sure.
bit more to stump me.
Like I can play Recycle Energy in my deck and still lose to Pidgeotto, but the deck's bad.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I like SB Axis for 6 against it. That's how I normally do
Until
it.
I start running the 60 HP Pidgey, and you don't do that anymore. You only get 3. 2 or 3.
Oh, but what about my pings from my Tinas, my guy?
What about Mew, my guy?
Mew doesn't stop Tina.
Yeah, it
You
does.
doesn't stop
No,
it.
Mew doesn't stop Tina.
It does 100%.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
Is it 40 damage counters or is it 40 damage to the bench?
No.
What?
Tina's Distortion
Oh,
Door.
Distortion Door. I thought
Oh,
we were
I'm
talking
not
about.
talking
I thought we
about.
were
I'm
talking
not
about
talking
Tina
about
Trump. I'm
linear
sorry.
attack.
No. What do I do about Tina? I just discard energy all off of one Tina. You use your 2 switches and I
No.
trap
He
it.
pings you, and then he gets the extra knockouts off of Espeon Deoxys.
He still only gets 3 or 4 if I'm running 60 HP Pidgeys.
Okay, but 3 or 4, and then you have no Pidgeys.
Yeah.
That's the real problem, not the prizes. But you don't have any Pidgeys, and you just lost 4 prizes.
I don't think I'm a bad enough Pidgey player to let that happen every game. It might happen. I
But
think
you
it
just can't
happens.
do anything
I think it
about
happens like 7 times out of 10 that I get knocked out by Espeox's full 200.
You just can't make them dead draw before they take prizes, and then when they do take prizes, they're just gonna take 4 of them.
Yeah.
It's a rough life out there when Espeon Deoxys is a card.
It's rough when all you guys are both
I did
talking
not-
mad shit on both my deck choices.
I think Picarom's a much better deck than Pidgeotto. I think Picarom's good, but I just wouldn't play it.
I didn't even have SB Axis in my first iteration of the deck. I was just like, nah, this is a bad card. I had Esper instead.
Yeah, we were talking to you about it. We were like, you play because it was when Spiritomb popped up, and Spiritomb just can't do anything about an Espeon Deoxys. What?
Yeah, no, that's so the Spiritomb is why I ended up putting it in there, and it's ended up just being a good card in every
Because-
matchup almost.
I don't think it's good against Rushy variants because they'll just pop it, but like
I use it to take out Vulpix every once in a while.
Do you?
Yeah, so
But
like
I don't
sometimes
think
they'll.
you can get the full 6. I think that's way too greedy.
Oh, yeah, no, I never get the full 6. So, if I'm going first, right, and then they'll lay down like their 2 Vulpix
Right.
because they're like, "Ooh, man, gonna get that 9-tails." Sometimes they'll just Distortion Door, put the 10, and then charge up and get that 3.
Bro, that's why
Not
you play
charge.
Stealthy Hoods in your
God.
Rushy deck.
Oh man,
For
yeah,
sure.
maybe.
And then you can use the Stealthy Hoods to attack through Wobbuffet with Victini. Busted card.
So
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And it stops 9-tails. It's card's filthy.
man, Kobe had me pull out this Stealthy Hood from my bulk trainers, and he's sitting over here drooling over it, like it's sitting right in front of us right now, and he's just like, oh man, it's so spicy.
So good. If I was going to take a deck to AC right now, I'd probably chicken out and just take Green Rushy because the deck's way more consistent than Ability Rushy. And I think if you just hit Malamar, that you can win a bunch of games, and it still beats Pikarom if they don't play Judge. So I think Plant Stamp is also super good.
Which,
and
if you're not playing Judge Pikarom, you're bad. I think Judge Pikarom is the best Pikarom.
I
by
think
far.
Judge Pikarom
Yeah,
is the only way
it's-
to win with Pikarom.
I think it's the only good one right now. You have to make people brick.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
you have to make people brick if you want to win with Pikarom.
Yeah.
It's literally their win condition, but I'd still be worried about Stamp. But if you play Shrine, you can kind of get around Stamp sometimes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the deck's strong and consistent, and I like consistent decks, so that's probably what I would do.
Yeah. Man, I'd probably just play Melee. I don't know. I'm itching to like show the world it. Like I've been posting it and like just doing so good with it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Knoxville.
You just
I'm gonna...
you just have to play fast. That's it. But even then,
Yeah.
you're playing a more aggressive version of Malamar, so you probably have
It's-
less troubles in a best of 3 setting than the straight Psychic Malamar.
Yeah, and I've been playing it so much that like I'm my turns are pretty fast.
It's
Your
boring.
I don't know.
sequencing is just down.
Huh?
Your sequencing is just down.
Yeah. The only thing that like sometimes I'll like forget to count an Inkay or something,
Yeah.
and that sometimes fucks me. But
Yeah. Sometimes I
nah,
forget to check for welders, and then I'm like, no wonder I missed welder all game. You prize one.
yeah,
You prize one welder in ability, and you're dunzos.
that's one thing. Like I'm about to switch to like the shiny Malmar, so I'm a little worried because like
About like clumping.
no, my like counting in my head, like I'm so
Ah,
used to the art,
yeah, for sure,
I'll just yeah.
definitely.
I've been practicing like Shintaro like was how he was like fanning his whole deck out on like one hand, like pulling out like the Pokemon to count him.
Right.
Yeah, I've been practicing that. Like so
Yeah, that seems like a pretty decent way
yeah.
to do it for sure. Are there any techs that you would consider putting into your Malamar deck?
Maybe a Jinx. I lost to a Jinx yesterday, but
And can
uh,
you go over for us what the Jinx does exactly?
so it's pretty much four Malmar mirrors, and then it does 50 or it does one damage counter for every Pokemon on your opponent's bench.
So 6 damage counters. Usually at
No,
max.
not active. 5 max.
Okay, 5 max.
And
And
that just it doesn't seem good enough to me because it's 2 energy, so you can't do it like turn 1 if you go second.
well, you even play the Sableyes that have
Curse
the
drop.
the curse drop side power, the same attack that the Mew does that lets you just put 3 damage counters anywhere. And I think that attack's
Yeah.
pretty good, especially in a Malamar deck.
No, yeah, I like it a lot. I feel like it's not aggressive enough.
Yeah,
I lost to it yesterday, but it was because I whipped a switch. But
it'd be like that. And you're only playing 2 Switch.
I am only playing 2 switch.
Yeah. It'd be like
I
that
remember that
sometimes.
distinctly. Every Malamar player in Oklahoma only plays 2 Switch, and as soon as everybody told me that, I was like, cool, I know exactly what to do.
Yeah. That's the real big
Yeah.
thing against Malamar. You just got to know how many Switch cards they have.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I've been working like I'm pretty good at not letting a Malmar get stranded. Like if I have any extra psychics, like I charge up to
To
or
Malamars.
yeah, 2 Malmars.
Yeah. You can even retreat out of it if you need the Psychics back, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
What about Hoopa? What do you think about Hoopa?
Hoopa's probably the best tech at the moment.
Yeah. I've been seeing it going into ability Reshi's art lately, and I think it's just a solid card. Like, there's so many abilities. You got Nagquag, and that'll hit for like a full 120, 130.
It usually will.
Yeah.
I think all of their Pokemon, it'll usually hit for probably 90 because they'll probably have an unevolved basic. So, I think other than that, it'll hit for full potential. It's really good against ability Zard.
Right.
It's pretty decent against Pikarom,
Yep.
even. And I really like those single energy attackers in decks like ability Zard because it just kind of lets you set up behind them,
Yep.
commit all your resources to something you're not attacking to. And so really you're just good to go for pretty much the rest of the game if they don't get around that Hoopa.
Yeah.
And it's really just a really easy way to ping some damage and set up knockouts to make the rest of your game plan much easier.
Yeah, I mean, and personally, like, the Hoopa is, like, super clutch for, like, Malamar. Because, like, with Pikarom, you're getting slow knockouts. Like, you're one-shotting all the Giratinas and everything. And if, like, they're just playing straight-up Psychic Malamar, then you're going slow and they're hitting, they're two-shotting three prizers. So, Hoopa, just like you said, like, you can knock out a Giratina. They're not going to knock it back out unless they play spell tag damage on it.
Right.
If they're able to get the spell tag damage on it. But if they don't, you just knock out another Giratina right back. So that's 2 prizes. You can start setting up your Pikaroms and your Choo-Choos or whatever on the bench, and then tag Bolt for even 2 more prizes or however you want to do it. But it
it's
speeds
a
up the
really strong
process
card.
and helps you not spend your tag teamers.
Yeah, it's really good to like let you conserve your resources while still having something with a decent amount of HP just going up there and hitting pretty hard for 1 energy. What do you think about Finny?
Finny, I think it's really situational, honestly.
I don't think Blounds is popular enough to really
Yeah,
warrant it in
no.
a regional. So
No, I think it did well. It does well for you, like in our local, like in the Midwest area, because we have a lot of Midwest people. Not a lot, I should say, but quite a few Midwest people that play Blounds or play Beast of some sort, like Nagquag or Blounds or the Baby Blacephalon and Reshi, Ability Reshi. So,
you can get more use out of it than just Blounds, while still auto-winning Blounds with that card, because you can send up Finny and then you can just load up one prizers and they can't do anything about it.
Right.
So I think it auto-wins that matchup. It's really good against Nagquag. It's really good against Darkbox. It even has niche use in the ability mirror with Baby Blacephalon.
Yeah.
And if you can get around the Baby Blacephalon, then you still have your Tapu Fini as a threat. So the card's decent, but I'm not sure that it compares well enough to Hoopa.
Sure. You used it against Nagquag last weekend. What I'm curious really about that situation is how they didn't just put up a Quagsire after you put up your Tapu Fini and one-shot it.
Well, the thing is they were missing Whoopers, right? And so they started with 2 Poiples, right? And so as soon as, and I do this going second on turn 1, I get my Fini out and I knock out a Poiple, right?
Sure.
So even if they had gotten a Whooper down on that turn, which they didn't get down on turn 2 anyways,
Sure.
they would have to send up a Poiple. They would still have an unevolved Whooper, and I could just target that because the Ultra Beast doesn't have to be active. It just has to be in play. Right. So you can just kill Whoopers, and then once they do get an evolution up, you just keep targeting basics with it instead of the evolutions.
Had you set up a Ninetales at this point as well?
No, it got to a point where I had to hit a Naganadel for 100, which was completely worthless.
Yeah,
but
yikes.
the Finny already took 2 prizes for me, so I was just chilling from there. They had to bench it to Dene. The game was over.
I think best case scenario for that situation would have been like if they weren't setting up the Whoopers like you were saying, then you could just set up a Ninetales and just start Nine Temptationing, whatever you want to call it, the plural form of Nine Temptations. I can't talk. I'm sorry, but you get what I'm saying. And
The Finny's
just
definitely.
bring up Whoopers.
What were you saying, Brendan?
The Finny's definitely a really good tech for that deck.
I think it's pretty good, but I'm not sure if it's better than Hoopa.
I think Hoopa's probably the best tech right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's super saucy.
But every time I played Finny, it's won me a game, so I can't really say too much negatively about the card. It just wins some matchups for you as being a 1-energy attacker. That's I think it has about the same reliability as Hoopa, because Hoopa's damage output is dependent on your opponent, but so there's only certain matchups you'll get good use out of Hoopa, and only certain matchups you'll get good use out of Tapu Fini.
Well, and I think Hoopa, like, even if you're not going to use it against a deck that plays a lot of abilities, then you're going to be able to have a good time. Like in my situation where I play it with Pikarom, you're going to be okay just playing with Pikarom and Raichu the whole time. Like, you don't even use Hoopa. It just becomes like it just becomes radar bait at that point.
Yeah.
You know. What do you guys think about Mew still?
I like Mew a lot.
I don't like Mew. I'm playing Malmar and I don't like Mew.
I'm as an ability Reshi player, I'm too scared of Judge Tag Bolt, I think, to not play Mew. I think the Judge Tag Bolt combo kind of just wrecks me if I can't respond to their Pikarom that's just used Full Blitz. So I think I'd probably play Mew over either Hoopa or Finny for that exact reason.
Yeah.
See, I don't. See, I was scared of Towering Splash for a little bit. I got Towering Splash at a cup.
I remembered that.
And so I put Mews back into my deck. But they're just not as good as the Sableye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deck dependent for sure.
Yeah, I know definitely, I don't know, to watch out for Towering Splash now. Just like don't let it happen is pretty much.
You know, I've been
it's
seeing
pretty-
a lot of Nagquag players posting on Verbank and Heyfonte about how Wailord isn't really coming in handy like that anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think the Wailord is necessarily that strong in Nagquag. It's good against Malamar if they don't play Mew, but it's a tag team, and that's not good.
And 180 is like trash right now.
Yeah, it's not a good number.
Like, if you're not using Towering Splash and you have to use its 180, like, that's really bad. In my opinion.
No, it definitely is. It's so many numbers are so weird right now.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it is
Like,
like
the-
awkward numbers.
The only reason I think Giratina is good is because it's a baby hitting 130, but 130 still isn't that much.
But it can use
It's
Spell
so
Tag
good.
and Distortion Door, so
Yeah,
130
that's-
really isn't usually just 130.
I think 130 is a really good, like, two-shot attack. Like, you're two-shotting Choo Choo for perfect math. You're two-shotting
Guardian.
Pikarom, Guardian. You know, you need just one tick of Spell Tag or Distortion Door on a Reshizard to two-shot a Reshizard. So I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Or a
the
Mewtwo.
130 is a super good number.
It's a solid number for sure.
Yeah.
And Brandon, what do you think will win AC regionals?
Oh man. Um, Bruh, probably like probably a fire deck, probably like abilities Zard,
Yeah.
but oh, something weird. The meta is like so wonky
Mm-hmm.
right now. Um, it could maybe be a Malmar with like stealthy hoods. I've been seeing Malmars run stealthy hoods.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me a player at the Cup was running stealthy hoods, and then he wasn't running stealthy hoods. And I guess that was because the day before nobody played ability. But,
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
But we just ID'd anyway, so it didn't really matter.
No, he was playing stealthy hoods the day before.
Yeah, I think stealthy hood's a pretty good card. But Chandler, what do you think's gonna win AC?
I don't know exactly, but I don't think it's gonna be a welder deck.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it's gonna be something kind of it's gonna be some sort of like DDG deck. Maybe not like specifically DDG, but like that wonky out of the blue sort of stuff. Because it's been so long. Like the last major event we had, and at least in America, was Open or Worlds, and so America's format is we haven't really seen what it is truly. I think yet. Because I think the Open and the Worlds format was still a little bit of a test period maybe of how Unified Minds would be, and I think we've had a little bit more time to develop the Unified Minds format. So
yeah,
that's just my opinion.
The format's evolved really fast, and really throughout the whole format so far, decks are changing, and
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be a Reshi or a Pikarom deck.
Yeah.
And Pikarom just wins tournaments.
Yep.
It just does a really good job of winning tournaments.
Yep. Yeah, I think Pikarom probably is definitely gonna be up there. I think it's top two the last two Europe regionals, hasn't it?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
It won one and then got second in another
Well,
one, didn't it?
Well, it won the Melbourne SP.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's not quite a regional.
No, but yeah, that's
But,
a major event.
yeah,
It's more like a cup.
Yeah.
It's
But,
like
yeah.
a really big cup. It's like a regional cup.
Yeah.
But
And then-
it got second
in Sheffield,
in
right?
Sheffield, and
Yeah.
it lost because it played Guardian.
Right. And I just didn't think. Did it play was it the version that played Lysander Labs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oof,
But I
that's
do
rough.
believe they played Judge.
That's rough.
So
I don't know. I think Pikarom would probably just win it because that's what it does. I wish I had a cop-out answer like Zoroark, but I just don't. So I got to go with Pikarom.
So you're going
Yeah.
with Pikarom.
Yeah.
I'm going with like a welder deck. I mean, I don't think there's enough counters for it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
So.
too fast.
I think it's gonna be one that's not relying on Reshizard.
Not
I
relying.
think
Do you think it plays Reshizard or just doesn't rely on it?
I think it's dumb not to play one Reshizard, but probably.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't get a lot of use out of it, but when I do need it, I'm glad that I have it. So
See, I feel like the opportunity to make your opponent take 8 prizes is probably too good not to play it.
yeah, yeah,
Like, you can just kind of throw him up there and he can attack, you know?
yeah,
Some of these small guys are taking one shots, and sometimes Reshizard can't do that, but
it's really good as like a last attacker against a
That's-
lot of decks, especially like Malamar. A lot of times just can't handle it if you just throw a Reshizard up there when you each have one prize card left. But
oh yeah.
I think
So-
you can
because-
definitely get punished for it in the mirror and in Pikarom.
Yeah. It's definitely that's how I've been seeing it. Like with my testing against abilities are like if we're both at 1 prizes and you just throw them out, it's kind of hard to take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you just kind of gotta hope that you still have an Espeon Deoxys GX attack.
Yeah,
Ready to
either
go.
that or like your GGN maybe.
Yeah,
See, that's another thing. Like a lot of people aren't running the Tina Chomp, and GGN is just such a strong attack.
yeah,
absolutely
I agree.
insane.
The attack's really good.
Like, I don't know. I don't get why people aren't playing it. So
Yeah.
that's me though. That's me.
What do you think about the new ban list?
I mean, it's pretty much what I thought it would have been last year, or not last year.
When?
Oh gosh, when they banned delinquent?
It was last year. It was
Was
pretty
it?
much towards the end of the
Yeah,
season.
I was frantically trying to Google it.
Yeah, we're trying to get the Japanese ban list too. I thought I saw it on Verbank.
Yeah.
I got it.
Here, I got it. I can send it to you guys.
You got
They
it.
banned Chip Ice Axe, and
Red
I
card.
guess Chip Ice Axe is for Giratina Garchomp control deck. They kind of just ended your game on turn 1 and didn't let you do anything. They banned Let Loose Marshadow. They banned.
Did you say it was used in like a Giratina Garchomp?
Yeah,
That's what I was confused
yeah,
about.
because like I commented on one of the posts and it said that it was pretty worthless to ban for Sableye Garb, and there was a deck list and they said that it was banned because of a Giratina Garchomp control deck. I guess they just GG you on turn 1 and try to really mess you up, but they banned Marshadow from Shining Legends, Flabebe from Forbidden Light, Miss Magius from Unbroken Bonds, Red Card, Chip Ice Axe, Getsus, which we already have banned, Lieutenant Surge and Ireland Challenge Amulet.
Yeah, I'm not 100% getting the Island Challenge amulet, maybe, but
Do you know what it does?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
It's-
also part of that deck, the Giratina Garchomp one, because they just abuse cards that...
Making him a one prizer.
Yeah, it abuses like Miss Magius to try to like stamp your opponent out of a opening hand and use Surge, and so you go down to like you make your opponent go down to really low prizes so that you can pull off some weird combos.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then the Flabebe
It can evolve instantly.
It can
that's
evolve
why.
instantly into a pretty... I think it's a card that shuffles a card from your opponent's hand back into their deck. So it really seems like they're just trying to ban control style
Yeah.
cards that are real degenerate in a format.
I'm not a fan.
See, I'm surprised that Zork's not on here. Like all of this stuff that they're banning, and
I saw something like really like insightful, I guess you could say, on one of the pages, and it's not Zoroark isn't the problem. It's the cards surrounding Zoroark that's the problem. It's like
oh yeah,
it's like eggs,
but-
it's like delinquent, it's like things that Zoroark can abuse. Because it's not really Zoroark's problem. Drawing 2 isn't. That's not really a problem. It's the cards that Zoroark's using with that ability or getting into and stuff like that.
Right, but
Yeah,
the argument
but-
to that is why ban all those cards when you could just ban the one card that is
Yeah.
actually the problem. And if you just ban Zoroark, Eggs isn't that big of a problem, Delinquent's not that big of a problem, Skyfill. And Riotous Beating is still an insane attack. It doesn't just have trade, and when you can trade 3-4 times, I mean, that's 6 to 8 cards, and then you hit 210 damage, and you still have your other tech Pokemon like Garb and other things, and you're just like, well, do what you can.
Yeah. I don't think Zoroark's the problem, but I also love Zoroark with all my heart. So
Yeah, I love Zoroark. The card's way too strong. It's always been way too strong. Bossy card. Wins everything, so you can't really argue with that.
yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get the bans here? A pretty much copy-paste ban list here.
Maybe.
I think
I
we
don't
have
know.
the last couple times. They banned Maxis for us, and I think they were just scared of Omastar. Like, who was really that scared of Omastar? I just want to know.
Man, I don't know.
I guess
mean,
turn 1 Omastar could be decent, but I don't know. I don't think the card's that good.
I think it's because I mean,
Even if they turn 1 Omastar you still have less bench Pokemon than them, and you can still play items.
yeah, most likely.
But I don't know. Chandler, you got anything else?
no, the ban list targets my control side of me, so kind of a little bit sad. I never really played cards like Red Card or. I mean, I played Chip for sure, but that's in the standard, and I didn't really see myself playing an expanded. So, I got one idea for expanded deck, and none of that ban list really affected it. So, I do think since if they bring the turn 1 supporter rule to expanded, that they'll probably unban Maxis. That's what I think.
Yeah, they definitely could.
But yeah.
Yeah. And that is only if you're going first, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, it's only if you're going first.
Okay. Yeah, people have been calling it like the turn one, and I'm like, it's if you're going first,
Yeah, it's
right?
definitely
Yeah.
if you're going first.
So, okay. Yeah, I was just double checking, because, like, yeah.
You got any other thoughts, Brandon?
Oh, on the bands? Man.
On anything?
Oh, on anything? I don't know. For one, red card, I honestly think should have been banned a long time ago.
Yeah, I think
Whenever they
so.
when they banned delinquent, I was upset they didn't ban red card instead. So
Because it was red card delinquent.
yeah,
But
And
you
I
could
felt-
still just like let loose delinquent. But now
it made it a lot harder. I thought maybe just like let loose and red card should have been gone.
Yeah.
Just because like they were trying to get rid of stuff that like seemed unfair, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like red card felt way more unfair compared to.
red card and let loose are definitely way more unfair.
But we also have reset stamp now, so.
But it's more fair on turn one.
Oh yeah, no, but you can do
Yeah.
like mismatches, and so.
But if that comes over to us in a ban list, then not much we can do about that.
Yeah, definitely. I did notice red card's not, or reset stamp isn't on here.
It is
so.
not.
It shouldn't be.
I mean, white band reset stamp when N exists.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's any more delinquent things you can do with a stamp than N. So, unban Hex. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, screw that, dude. Screw that all the way. I think that's gonna wrap it up for us, though. So thank you, Brandon, for hopping on. Again, I'm
Yeah, no
here
problem.
with my teammates, Kobe and Brandon. Go and like our page on Facebook and YouTube at Team No Leek. And thanks again, guys.
Thank
Take it
you.
easy.